Hey YouTube, David here, or Jesus. Okay, tonight I'm going to do a video on something. The other day I was driving, it was Wednesday or Thursday, and I was listening to these reports about what's going on over with the Iran war and everything. And I had made a video the night they made a ceasefire. That they called for this quick ceasefire deal, and told you all it wasn't over, that this was just the beginning, and that we talking about First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. But I found myself saying, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I got to thinking, I was like, I think maybe I can get that off there. A little distraction. Do a video on this and kind of explain to you all what that means when we hear the scripture saying that Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And when I'm going to reflect on a lot of scriptures tonight, but I'm not going to be showing a lot of scriptures. I want to go over a few things that I'm going to be showing you in the scriptures, but I'm going to explain something to you that you get an understanding of by reading the books. But when I said this the other day, it was kind of like, you all have no idea what's going on. And I felt like, I should do a video on that. And I contemplated whether or not I'm supposed to do any more videos because you all don't watch the videos very often. I don't have that many subscribers. And when I made the video not too long ago saying that this was actually the Father doing this, I actually lost a couple of subscribers. Yeah, I picked up a couple of subscribers since then. But the video that I'm going to do tonight literally is going to show you, and it's going to explain it to you, that it is the Father doing it. Okay? And you're really going to learn what it means when we ask the Father to forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I might pop up a few more verses in here. I don't know, because I don't know if I'm going to get a new computer, or I'm just going to give up on making these things. But my internet connection, this computer that I got, it's old. I've written 3 or 4 books on it, and I don't it's just going downhill. Either way about it. Now, before we get too far into this video, I want to ask you to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share. Share these videos, because we're getting ready to go into a time that the dead in Christ are getting ready to start rising. You're not going to rise until you read these books, until you start to turn back to the Father and start getting an understanding of Him. We're getting ready to fall into some extremely hard times. That's one of the things I forgot to put up on here. Let me do that real quick. Let's just go to Matthew 24. Matthew 24 here. So just let me, my computer's slow. Now, all right. This is actually where I want to go. I want to start. All right. Okay. Matthew 24. I'm going to go ahead and read before what I got highlighted. I'm going to stop to where I got to at the end of the highlighted. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? All right. Notice how it doesn't say thy sign of thou coming again, or thou returning. Okay, Hebrews 9:26. For often he must suffer since the foundation of the world, but once in the end of the world has he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. We'll be talking a little bit about that here in this video. All right, now it's not return. Jesus or myself, I'm only here in the end of the world. And let me just read on before I get myself way off track. And Jesus answered and said, whoops. Yeah. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Pause. I have shown you all in the books. There have been 45, at least 45 documented cases of people claiming to be Jesus before me. There will be many false Christ. There have been 45. And none of those guys understood that Jesus only appears once in the end of the world. Again, I think there was a few of them said there was a few of them that were women. I don't remember. I didn't show you all the documentation that I got off of Wikipedia and everything in the books, but if I remember correctly, the correct count was 45. There was 45 documented cases, and that was a few years ago. So I don't know, if that's been updated or what. I don't know if, they might even try to say I'm in there. Whatever. None of them have ever had the cross on their head that wasn't put there by man, as I do. Whether y'all like it or not, that cross is still there. I check on a daily basis because I always wonder if the Father's given up on me. He never does. All right, go back to it. All right, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. The wars and the rumors of wars are expedient. I mean, they're everywhere. We got Russia, Ukraine, we got Iran, Israel, Gaza, Lebanon. I don't even remember the other ones that was going on. Trump's claiming that he stopped 7 or 8 wars that he never stopped. He didn't have anything to do with it, but he's trying to take claim. Anyway, Trump is the last Trump, spoken about in 1 Corinthians 15:52. We'll be talking about that more. All right. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these countries around Iran, they're calling them kingdoms. I was listening to one of the things the other day, and they was talking. What country was it? I was going to pull up a map of that area. It's got all those nations or a bunch of those states, whatever they want to call them. The kingdoms, and I think it was Saudi Arabia. They said there was something was going to happen to UAE. It was going to happen to one of those kingdoms. They call it a kingdom. And it's just like, okay, kingdom is rising against kingdom, nation against nation, the United States against Iran, Israel against, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. All these things are coming to pass, just as the scripture said they would. You're going to understand this if you hang in there to the end of this video. I'm going to explain this in fair detail, but I'm not going to show you what I show you in the books. I'm just going to kind of go over some of the things. But notice how it says in verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? This is just the beginning of sorrows. Okay? With these nations rising up against each other, these kingdoms rising up against each other, okay? Or maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me see what I got here next. All right, yeah, duh. Luke 23, verse 34. And said Jesus, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots. Now, all right, what does it mean when we hear that? All right, this is where I'm going to say I'm not going to show the scriptures. But in Genesis 2:7, God breathed life into man, so man became a living soul. John 14:6, I am the truth, the way, the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me. I'm the only way to the Father, and that's through these books that I've written, so you all can get an understanding of the Father, who he is, what he's doing, why he's doing what he's doing. 1 John chapter 5, verse 20, we know the Son of God has come, giving us an understanding. Okay, I'm paraphrasing. All right? God breathed life into man. God, all right, our mother, Revelation 17, our mother, we all were cast here, and I explain this in the books, in the latter part of the books, okay, because this is all precept upon precept, line upon line, a little bit here, a little bit there, Isaiah 28. All right. But it now, that's why I said I'm not going to show you all this in the scriptures tonight, but Revelation 17, that's our mother, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay, that's our mother. We came from the stars. Our father cast the beast down to earth. Okay, I think that might even be in Isaiah 9. We're going to be talking about that here in a little bit. We're going to look for it anyway. But anyway, cast us here to earth. Then God breathed life into us. That's the light that He created on the very first day of the creation, the very first 5 verses, I believe it is, of the Bible. God created the light. He didn't create the sun and the moon and the stars till the 4th day. That was God putting part of Himself into each and every one of us. Just like when a man and woman twain together, they become one flesh, they have a child. Part of the males in the child, part of the females in the child. You can see a little bit of both most of the time in the child. We can all see a little bit of the father in all of us. We can all see a little bit of the mother in us. The mother is the disobedient. I'm not trying to disgrace women, but the mother is the mother of the earth is the harlot of harlot of the abomination, whatever, of the whole earth. That's our mother. Okay? God breathed part of Himself into all of us. So now we're going to talk about Trump, and I don't got this shown. All right, well, what the heck? I'll just throw it in here. 1 Corinthians 15:52. This, well, I mean, the computer's kind of slow with this internet thing. You get this computer's not the greatest. For when, oops, 52. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, the last Trump. This is the last time Donald Trump can be president. He was the president 16 to 20, 24 to 28. This is the last time he can be the president. He is the last Trump. I actually, in the book I wrote, Jesus is Here, the 4th precept, I thought he was the last Trump in that book. That's when the COVID-19 was ravishing through the world. That was right after the Father sent me to Hawaii, and I seen the flood that covers the earth. Jeremiah 46, verse 8, I believe it is. 6 or 8. Yeah, because Jeremiah 42 is where it says they tell Jeremiah, we'll do whatever God commands us, whether it be good or evil. Okay, so you got to put this together. This is the father inside of Trump. Even when Trump shut the economy down in the United States with the COVID-19, that wasn't Trump actually doing it. It was the father. It caused economic turmoil, as we all know, everywhere, globally. Not just because of the United States, but the COVID-19 was going through the world. Hence, back in the 3rd book, on the original book, it's on the 10th book page now of the republished book. I told everyone to humble themselves, let down their guard, because this is going to be a devastating time for the whole world. That book was published August 15th of 2019. What happened in March of 2020? COVID-19 ravaged through the world, economic turmoil ravaged through the world, and I want to say we would still be feeling the consequences of that, but now I think we're feeling more of the consequences of what the war's going on. Now, all these people in Iran, Trump called, it sounds like Trump administration was the one that was calling for the ceasefire and so forth. And whoever, Iran stood their ground, stands their ground, and is still standing their ground. Now, just the same as God breathed life into Donald Trump, God breathed life into you, God breathed life into your neighbor, God breathed life into me. That's why we're told to love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as thyself. because God is in everybody. The Father. The Father. Okay? Now, he breathed life into all those in Iran. But at the same time, he breathed life into all those in Israel. That's part of God the Father in everybody. In the leaders in Iran, in the leaders of UAE, in the leaders of whatever those other countries are. I can't remember the name of them. What the leaders of Israel, Jordan, everybody. It's God the Father. But he told us what it would be like when things were about fulfilled. I do believe that's in Galatians where it says that I come when things are all fulfilled. Now, they're having this peace rally today, or whatever, peace talks, which I did see a clip. It don't sound like it's going to go anywhere. But remember, it's not the leaders of Iran. It's not Donald Trump. It's not Bibi Netanyahu. It's not Vladimir Putin or Vladimir Zelensky. It's the Father inside of each and every one of us. So now, what we was reading in Matthew 12, if I can go back to that, okay, there shall be famines, pestilences. I've always taken this as like anything that could be a nuisance. Okay, if you're got a swarm of flies, I'm a truck driver. There's been a few times I go to a place that's got a lot of flies in the area, and during the summer times they'll get in my truck and they can be a pestilence. But anything that's a nuisance to you can be a pestilence. Something that's always bugging you every day, that's a pestilence. I don't look at I don't think pestilences are some, I don't know, some vicious, mean thing. It's something that it's a pest, you know? Um, Say like you're sitting on a bus or you're sitting on an airplane and the kid behind you or the person behind you keeps bumping the seat and it just keeps bumping you the whole time you're on the bus or the flight or whatever. That's a pestilence. But the famines. See, now First Thessalonians, this is what I got here. For when I made a video on this the other night, Tuesday. I said, well, for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. All right, when they hollered this peace and safety, they did this ceasefire. I told you all Tuesday night when I made the video, I said, this is not over. It's going to get a lot worse. And it is. What's going on right now, it's the father inside of those in Iran. It's the fathers in J.D. Vance. It's the father in Donald Trump. Whoever you want to say, Bibi Netanyahu, Vladimir Putin. I don't know how it's coming. You know, the father told me yesterday, he said, I won't tell you what destruction's coming, but I will tell you the destruction is coming. See, Tuesday, when I made that video, when Trump made that remark on his Truth Social, when he turned around and he made that remark, he was going to annihilate, I don't remember exactly how he said it, but he was going to annihilate the entire civilization, never to exist again, or however he said it. Okay. And that caused all kinds of stuff. You know, through that day, while I was listening to the videos, let me tell you how I do that. Okay. I subscribe, you know, I tell you all about this in the books, but on my YouTube, I put them on my queue and one video will play. And after that video's over, another video will play. So when I stop, I sit there and I pick and sort videos that I want to listen to. And then I listen to them while I'm driving. And you know, I don't have to touch my phone or anything like that. It just automatically goes to the next one. So as I'm listening to them, you know, and so forth, I was driving down the road and I was like, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they say. Because see, what's going to happen? This war is not over, and it's getting ready to get a lot worse. And here's my personal speculation, but I think they're going to try to force the Strait of Hormuz open somehow or another. Iran's going to wind up doing something that's going to close it off hard. The Houthis are going to close down I don't remember how they call it, but the passageway in the Red Sea, they're going to close that down. There's going to be global famines. That's the only thing we're waiting on. That's what we're waiting on. This is going to cause it. What's getting ready to happen? I don't know exactly what it's going to be. That was my speculation. Now it could be Israel could do something. Bibi Netanyahu could order another strike on Lebanon, which Iran has made it clear Lebanon is part of the ceasefire. And if Israel breaks the ceasefire in Lebanon, I do believe they're including Gaza too. And if Israel retaliates and goes after either one of those, it breaks the ceasefire. We're going back to war. One way or another, those global famines are coming. They're going to be worldwide. In the books, I have speculated, I have said like there's famines in other parts of the world. I think I said like in Africa or something like, where they're very poor countries and there's famines there already. But I never connected how those are going to be global. And those are going to be, because it does say diverse places. So I've always thought, well, because I've been expecting the end for a long time. And I can go into the scriptures and show you where that's tells you that. I do explain this in the books. Okay. But these famines are going to be global, and we might be filling them here in the United States because part of the shipments that go through the Strait of Hormuz is fertilizer, which is going to actually put a hardship on farmers of being able to get their crop out, whether it be for us or whether it be for the animals that we eat. It doesn't matter. Okay, but the famines are coming. Now, if you don't believe this, what I want to do now, if you don't believe this is what I was talking about, we're going to talk a little bit about how I was in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights, almost 30 years before I was baptized with the Holy Ghost. All right. Matthew 12:38 through 41. Then certain of the scribes and the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, what would be the sign from thee? But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. And the men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas. And behold, a greater than Jonas is here. Now, I got to make a little commentary on this. Okay? That's the name of the second book. Behold, a greater than Jonas is here, published originally in 2018. I finished that book up in Israel in 2018. Now let's go back 70 years from 2018, and I show you all this in the 9th book. Go back 70 years from 2018, and we land ourselves at 1948 when Israel became a country. Coincidence? I think not. Behold, a greater than Jonas is here. Now, all right, March 28th, Good Friday, 1986. I was in a car accident. I was in the coma from Friday afternoon till Monday morning. Now let's measure that. Did God's calendars, I show you all this in the first book. The day starts when the light from the previous day is gone. The Sabbath starts on Friday night, ends Saturday. It's dark Saturday night. So I was in the belly of the earth Friday day, Friday night, Saturday day, Saturday night, Sunday day, Sunday night. Out of the coma Monday morning. Now, let's go to Luke 3. Luke 3, so I can show you this. Matthew 23. Oh, sorry about it. Luke 3, verse 23. And Jesus himself began to be about 30 years of age, being, as was supported, the son of Joseph, which was the son of Eli. All right, now, that's all I'm going to read of that. About 30 years old. It was March 8th, 2016, when I walked out into the wilderness thinking I was going to die to go to work for the Father. That was me laying down my life. Now, notice this March 8th, 2016 is 20 days shy of 30 years after March 28th, Good Friday, 1986. Now, it's in Luke 12 when Jesus, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Go to Luke 12. I just want to show you this. It's a different baptism than just the baptism of water. When the Father called me to the Bible in 2011, 400 years after the King James Bible was published, there's 400 years between the Old Testament and New Testament, 400 years between the Old Testament time of Jesus, or 400 years since the King James Bible was published and I was called to the Bible. Okay? Now, let's see here. Where is it? I believe it's I think it's Luke 12 here where he says, Luke 12 where it says, they asked which, let's go ahead and just Google that real quick. Where do they ask Jesus if they can have their son on the right left side? Okay, Matthew 20. Maybe I was wrong. Let's go to Matthew 20. Is that where I was thinking of? Oops. Looks like Matt. Yeah, Matthew 20. That's not King James, so that's to me is, I don't know where I was. Whatever. Matthew 20, 21. Just do that. And he said unto her, What? And he said unto her, What wilt thou? What wilt thou? She said unto him, Grant these my two sons may sit on the right hand and the other on the left hand of thy kingdom. But Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Are you able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized? Okay, I know that's in Luke. I need to figure out where that's. It's in Luke. After, so we see he was about 30 years old when he was baptized. Okay, where in Luke? See, y'all get to see how clumsy I am at a computer. Can you believe I wrote books? Make a joke out of it. Why not? I know it doesn't. Anyway, all right. Well, we know Jesus is baptized in Matthew 3, but in Matthew 21, it's talking about can you go through the same baptism? All right. Anybody can get baptized. Well, maybe not anyone. Some people are scared of water. Anyway, I show this in the books better. But either way about it. Okay. But now, with going back to this car accident that I had when I was 16 years old, do you think when I was 15 years old. So let me tell you, I'll go ahead and tell you that wasn't much after long. What wasn't very long after I turned 16 years old that I had this car accident. So, do you think when I was 15 that I decided to plot out that I was going to have this accident on March 28th, Good Friday, that was going to cause me to be in a coma for 3 days and 3 nights? John 4, verses 23 and 24. The hour shall come, and now is, that all true worshipers of God must worship God in spirit. God is a spirit, and those that worship him need to worship him in truth and spirit. Okay? When I was 15, I plotted this out, that I was going to have this car accident, roll this pickup. I don't remember it, and I explained this to y'all in the books. Okay, I don't remember the car accident. There's about 8 weeks of my life I don't remember at all. Okay, but from what friends and family say, I oversteered when I come out of the ditch, flipped the truck. I was laying about 60 foot away from the pickup when the paramedics arrived on the scene. I was okay, but when I had this accident on Good Friday, 1986. I had this plotted out that on March 8th of 2016, I was going to walk out into the wilderness thinking I was supposed to die. This is explained in the books. No. In fact, I used to joke around about it and say, "Oh, I died on I had the car accident on Good Friday." I used to be sarcastic about it because about when I was that age, I didn't know anything about the Bible. Anything. Anything about the Bible. No, that was the Father inside of me that oversteered that pickup, caused that pickup to fly, get me to go through the windshield, land in the 60 foot away from the vehicle when the vehicle come to a rest. It was the Father that kept me in a coma from Friday afternoon till Monday morning for 3 days and 3 nights. It was the Father that called me to the Bible in 2011. It was the Father that had them talking that night on Coast to Coast AM when they was talking about this rapture stuff that I had never heard of before that got me interested in the Bible. Remember, I'm a high school dropout. I got a GED, but I obtained that while I was in jail. I tell you all about that in the 9th book. It's the life and betrayal of Jesus. Okay? It was the Father inside of me. It's the Father inside of everyone else that causes all of us to do what we do. It's the Father inside of Donald Trump. It's the Father inside of all those people over in Iran. Which reminds me, okay, there's a vision in the second book. I don't remember which chapter it is, but I break down a vision in Daniel 2. Okay, one of these videos one day I was listening to, and it was some guy talking about Iran, and he had a very heavy accent. He was from another country. And when he said Iran, he said it sounded like Iran. And me hearing the engrafted word, that automatically took my mind to Daniel 2. There's a vision of there, and Pharaoh's kingdom, if not Pharaoh, whatever, but he's the head, we are the feet mixed with clay and iron. God breathed part of himself into all of us. All of us is, okay, that's what makes us all part of the Son of God. That's how Jesus tastes death for every man, is because all of us, the Father put a piece of himself into all of us that makes everybody his son, even women. Okay? You can't say woman without saying man, just to put it simple in terms to think of it carnally, okay? Can't have the woman without the man. In the word. All right? I don't want to get into all that technical stuff that everybody wants to argue about. Okay? God breathed part of himself into every man and woman, every child of every color, race, nationalism, size, or shape. I don't care who you are. Part of the Father is in you. That's the soul. That's what keeps you breathing. That's what keeps your heart beating. That's what gets your blood to pump through your body. That's what gets you to take it, breathe in, breathe out. That's the Father. He's the one that's doing that. And when he decides to shut the lights out, that's it. It's his choice, not ours. Okay? But God is in everyone. He's the one that's causing all this stuff to come. And we're getting ready to feel some very hard times for all of us. Now, I want to talk about Isaiah 9. And I don't remember if this, yeah, it does talk about the head and tail. Remember how I was telling you we got cast down here, cast the beast, the tail drew about a third of the stars, with the tail of the beast drew about a third of the stars. We came from the stars. We're going to read about this here in Isaiah 9. I'll pause when I get there. For the people turneth not unto him that smiteth them, neither do they seek the Lord of hosts. Therefore the Lord will cut off from Israel head and tail, branch and rush in one day. The ancient and honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teacheth lies, he is the tail. What is that head and tail? That head and tail, remember the beast here got cast here. That's the head and the tail. We're the head and the tail of the beast. You go out here and teach everybody that there's a rapture, you're the tail. You go out here and tell everybody that I was here 2,000 years ago and changed my perfect father, you're the tail. But you're still part of the body. Go to the book of Romans and other spots where it talks about the hand, the foot, the fingers. You know, it doesn't break it down like that, but everybody's part of the body. We all need each other, and everyone needs us. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day on the phone, and there's a chapter in the 8th book, and it's the conclusion. It is teamwork. And I know I'm going to upset a lot of you that only want to buy American, because I can guarantee you that you never have and you never will ever own anything that's 100% genuinely made in America. Let me break that down for you. All right? I'm on a computer right now that has computer chips that were made in different parts of the world, different countries of the world. Now, let's just say that this computer was made in America, but it's got components in it that was made from another part. But now let's break it down a little more. Let's say the components in this computer were made here in America. Okay. What about the machinery that they used to make the components that went in this computer? I'll guarantee you some of them most likely had components in it made from another country. But let's go a little further. Let's just say that all that had everything that was made completely here in America. All right, now, here's the catch. What about the people that actually, oh, what, you know what? Before we get that far, let's go to the building that whatever you got was manufactured in. I'll guarantee you there was components in the machinery that was made to make the building that you bought, that your product was built in, had components made from another country. Oh, wait a second. All right, let's go and say that didn't happen. Well, everything there was made up completely American. What about the cars the people used to get to where they had to come into work that day that actually made your product? Guarantee you they had some foreign components in those cars. Most likely, I'll guarantee you, they have foreign components in those cell phones. Okay, but now what about the manufacturer? You having them a place to live? If they're using foreign components, that means you're using that person that uses foreign components in order to get your product that was made in America, which makes your product not completely made in America. It took some kind of foreign power of some sort or another in order for you to have any product that you own. one way or another. It is teamwork. We need everyone, and everyone needs us. They may make our products, but they need that paycheck in order that we give them to get the products that we have. We all need each other. And see, that's why you're seeing this conflict going on right now. Well, you see Iran or Iran, okay, that way that guy said it, and I was going to go on that vision that I break down in Daniel Hughes. The iron destroys everything. Iron, Iron, destroys everything. Iran, Iran. That guy that talked the other night, he sounded like he was saying iron. Iran. Engrafted word. Hear the engrafted word which may save your souls. Okay, James 1:21. Iran is going to make a chokehold that's going to cause global depression. It's going to make 1929 look like a cakewalk. We all only read about it in the history books, but 1929 is going to look like a cakewalk because we're all spoiled today. Okay, we don't know what hard life is like. At least not here in the United States. Iran does. Now think about this. Oh, let me go ahead and read some more. Let me read some more of this before I get talking about that. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led out of them are destroyed. Therefore the Lord shall have no mercy on their young, neither shall have mercy for their fathers and widows. For every one is a hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaketh folly. For all this anger is not, for all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Ninth book, I tell you all to how to grab his hand mentally, morally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. I show you all how to grab his hand in the ninth book. I did not understand until I was writing the ninth book what his hand is. And I'll tell you this right now, I've been holding it since 2011. And I'm not letting go. It's in the ninth book. Oh, man. All right. For the wickedness burneth as the fire. It shall devour the briars and the thorns, and it shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting of the smoke. Through the wrath of the Lord of hosts in the land is the land darkened, and the people shall be the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. All right. Now, where I was talking about, we're spoiled here. The people over in Iran, the United States put sanctions, and I'm not a history buff, okay? I'm a high school dropout. I'm just going off of what I've been listening to and so forth. But the United States put sanctions on Iran in, I think it was 1979, because IRGC formulated, and they didn't like the way they run things. Okay, then the United States started building all these bases and everything in all those little countries around there, which Iran attacked, which Iran said they would do. They told, oh, gotta pause. All right, sorry for the interruption. Okay, that was Rose calling. I tell you all about her in the ninth book. All right, but anyway, the United States imposed sanctions on Iran back in 1979 and have seized a lot of their money. I heard something about the other day they were supposed to unlock $8 billion or whatever. They've seized a lot of Iran's money. In other words, the United States has pretty much told the people of Iran, you don't have a right to exist. So it's like for the last, what is it? This is 26, 46, 47 years. They've been building a hatred for us. You know, people complain about them saying death to America. That's a freedom of speech thing, in my opinion. If that's what they want to say, You know, and I made videos last year when they attacked him in June of last year. I told you, sounds like to me, the people of Iran know how to love, they know how to show restraint, they respect, and they follow the rules. And it doesn't seem to me that they're all about the money. To me, I think a lot of people in the United States, it's all about the money. Follow the money, shows you where the root of the problem is. 1 Timothy 6:10, the love of money is the root of all evil. Anyway, but all this clamping down on Iran has compiled and made them survive without all the luxuries that you and I here in the United States, or maybe even Russia, or maybe even Israel, or other countries have. It's almost like we've made them live one of Trump's phrases, going to send them back to the Stone Age. Okay. But it's almost like we've tried to force them for the last 47 years to live in the Stone Age. But yet, they came up through the ranks, powerful, endured what was being handed to them, and said, you know what? We're going to make this work anyway. They didn't cry off into their little closet. Boo-hoo, they're doing this to me. No, they stood up and said, you know what? We're going to stand up strong. We've made them, as the United States, I'll say, and a few other countries, have made them a resilient powerhouse. So it's kind of like they're being used for the fuel of the fire that we're all getting ready to feel. Because when they do this and they close everything down, or however it works out, because the Father told me, I won't tell you what the destruction is, but I will tell you destruction is coming. Okay? And as it says in First Thessalonians, when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. Now, I don't know what sudden is. That could be in the next couple of days. It could be the next week. Could be in the next couple of weeks. But it's coming. And whatever's coming is going to lead into famines. These are the signs of my coming. And I'm thinking it's all about the same time I'm leaving the country. I told you all I made a video back a few months ago thinking I was going to leave in April. But because of the war and maintenance done on the truck, I haven't had the money. I don't got the money to go anywhere. So I've had to postpone it. All right. But all this is coming. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. There's no stopping it. See, going back to this, back to behold, a greater than Jonas is here. And I explained this to you all in the 9th book. Okay. They repented at the preaching of Jonas. But I'm here now. There is nothing going to stop this. That's why it says, behold, a greater than Jonas is here. Jonas did the preaching and got him to repent. I'm greater than Jonas. There is no amount of repentance. Acts 17:30 says, God, in the times of the past, God winked at, but now commands every man everywhere to repent. This is turned back to him. The only way you're going to get to understand him is through the books that the fathers had me write over the last 11 years. Yeah, 2015 was the first book was written. I'm the only way to the Father, guys. Whether you all like it or not, that's the way it is. I'm the only way you're going to get to the Father. As you will know, nobody's being raptured. Ezekiel 13. I'm not going to show it. Just read it. If you think you're going to get raptured, read Ezekiel 13. When you get done with that chapter, if you still think you're going to get raptured, if you think you're going to be taught, you're going to be looked, the Father's going to be happy with you, thinking you're going to fly away, you're going to teach people that you're going to fly away, then I'm saying you don't know what you're reading at all. Ezekiel 13, read it. Nobody's getting raptured. And nobody should be going around thinking they're better than anyone else because we're all equal. James 2. There's not any of us any different than anyone else. We all bleed red blood. We all breathe the same air. We all walk on the same planet. We're all in hell together. Every one of us. We all got cast to hell. These are spiritual flames. When you want to talk about God in the beginning, when Adam and Eve got kicked out of the garden, God placed flames all the way around the garden. Without saying the words, he was saying, if you're going to get back in this garden, you're going through these flames. They're spiritual flames. Anything that makes you feel anything other than perfect is a flame. And the further away from perfect you feel is the hotter and higher the flame is that you're going through. That's what this is. It's all spiritual. Everything about the Bible is spiritual. And these flames, excuse me, I got a nicotine pouch in. These flames are getting ready to get really hot and really high. And they're going to hurt. Turn back to the Father. These books will give you an understanding of who he is, what he's doing, and why he's doing what he's doing. That's what this is all about, guys. The times of rejecting me are done. People need to start seeking this out because it's getting ready to get really hard, really fast. All right. I made this long enough, guys. All right. Share these videos. Subscribe to my channel. Give it a thumbs up. Helps the algorithm, I guess. That's what everybody's saying. I want some people to start paying attention to what I got to say. I've not been blowing smoke all these years. Father hasn't been teaching me all this for nothing. He's teaching me this. He has had me write these books for you all. I am the foolishness of this world. I've only got a 9th grade education. But I understand the King James Bible better than anybody else on this planet because I listen to every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. All right, guys, give it a thumbs up. Help me out here. Show a little love. Let's get the word out because it's getting ready to happen.